A2theK. Hi guys, look at us together in the same room.
At last.
It's beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, let's do as we always do and throw it over to Road Dogg for A2theK's little known fact of the week.
Oh, you didn't know?
Love him. Love the guy. So, Anthony, King of the Ring.
King of the Ring. I mean, it's only right we give a King of the Ring fun fact this week, Carl.
It is. It feels fitting, doesn't it, Anthony?
It does.
But did you know that there's only one man to ever won the King of the Ring tournament back to back?
Now, Carl, I feel I know my King of the Ring.
Okay.
And I feel like no one has ever won it back to back.
Oh, that's what you think. But this is why we're full of, fun facts. King of the Ring actually used to be a thing that took place during house shows back in the day. And as we know, a certain guy, bit of an excellence of execution, if you will.
Someone close to your heart.
Close to my heart. This guy. So he obviously won the King of the Ring in 1993 at the pay-per-view. However, he also was the final person to win it as part of the final house show event that they ran under the kind of King of the Ring banner. So, yeah, he basically won it in 1991, and then they didn't do it as a house show again. Brought it in as a pay-per-view in 1993, and he won that one too.
Won the fucker again.
So, technically, amazing. Bret the Hitman Hart won the King of the Ring twice on back-to-back occasions.
I did not know.
There you go. We are full of fun facts, and we are A2theK, and that was A2theK's little known fact of the week. And here's Road Dogg to sing us out.
Oh, you didn't know?
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So, Anthony, shall we talk about what happened this week in wrestling?
I mean, we can do.
Maybe kick off with some highlights this week. What do you think?
Okay. Well, let's do it. So, I'll take the first, if I may.
You can.
If I may. And I feel like we're doing this slightly backwards because for those who don't know, we already recorded the results and reactions to the
we are doing it backwards.
King of the Ring.
So now we have to cast our minds back to what happened.
It's I mentioned that because it's funny because he's on a bit of a run at the minute. I hope to keep it going. And that sorry, spoilers. And that is Xavier Woods versus Ricochet was a very good match.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was this good for Xavier, this really highlighted what Ricochet can do. And I feel like Ricochet has been given a really bad run, like since the whole countless feuding with the Hurt Business where he suffered losses, or Retribution where he suffered losses. Some of the statements he's made on social media where he's better than people took a bit of fire.
Fed to Brock Lesnar in like 2 minutes. All that good stuff.
that whole Brock Lesnar match, but you know what, he's incredibly talented, to be honest, and honestly, they did really well together. I don't know how you feel about, because I don't know, Ricochet's probably, in all fair, no disrespect to Woods, but Ricochet is probably the better character out of the two.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy that Xavier's getting a bit of a push, but I don't know how you feel about the actual win there, Carl.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy Xavier won it. I can only hope he goes on to win the whole thing.
Me too.
But yeah, no, I think it's a shame because Ricochet's fantastic as well in the ring. Yes. He just, I don't know, there's something missing with him, isn't there?
He's like that Reggie, but if he had talent.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. But I mean, like, it shows, like, from Lucha Underground, he could get over when he was like Prince Puma, and he can be a great character, and he hasn't been used right on the main roster. So I think you can say, similar about.
He was on fire in NXT though. Yeah, he really was. People loved him.
There's just something about he just doesn't seem to have the mic skills or the charisma or whatever to push him onto that next level. But no, the match was great. The right person won, Xavier Woods. And yeah, obviously, hopefully he can fulfill his lifelong dream at the King of the Ring finals in the Crown Jewel pay-per-view.
With any luck, but got to be a highlight overall.
Agreed. So the next one to talk about from a highlight perspective, I was a big fan of the post-match kind of beef between the two big men slapping meat.
You saw two meaty men and thought, beef.
I did. Yeah. Pretty much beef all round. But no, I think this is so refreshing to the point where it's not just they're two, good guys, and so they're really good friends, and they're going to go into it with a lot of respect. Like, this was refreshing in the sense they were just like, no, I'm going to beat the shit out of you, and it was like, okay, I'm here for that. There was definitely a few potatoes thrown in there as well. You could see Drew's head fucking swell up like a golf ball.
In fact, you could still see the remnants of it at a certain pay-per-view.
You could, that we haven't seen yet. It's Thursday, and you know what that means. It means we're even later than Wednesday when we say you know what that means.
Because we're doing we're in person.
Well, that's it. We're in person.
Well, no more in person to you guys, but to us it is.
To us, yeah, in the flesh. But no, I was a big fan of this. I'm happy they didn't go down the same old thing of these are two good guys, so let's have them just do it all based on respect. And so it was a nice little feather to the kind of feud.
And who'd have thought it'd be for these two? Because this is the type of thing that I genuinely thought it'd been. This is all about respect. Like, I just let's not do that. And I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, me too. And I'm sure they'll put on a fantastic match as well at the pay-per-view we haven't seen.
So my next one, Carl, if I could, I'm going to take you over to NXT. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to take you over to a particular match between Isaiah Scott and Santos Escobar.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done the slideshow? Can I do the slideshow?
I'll let you do the next one.
No, okay. So, basically, these two have had a bit of a long-standing feud, and you might go, well, it's getting a bit stale. It wasn't getting stale. They put on a banger of a match together, and I would have given it a highlight just based on this match. But you know what? There was some shenanigans afterwards that, honestly, I'm here for, and I'm excited to see what happens. So we had a surprise Carmelo Hayes, a wild Carmelo Hayes come out of nowhere, if you will. And come in after the win to essentially cash in from the what was the tournament they had, the breakout tournament. So he had this entitlement to a title match, and he fucking went for it. He came in after the fact and took the North American title. So Carmelo Hayes, out of fucking nowhere, is now your North American champion, and I'm all for it. We've not only got a satisfying ending to this Isaiah Scott and Santos Escobar feud, which I think is pretty much done, and they did put on a really good match together. We've also got this push for Carmelo, and I'm super intrigued to see where it goes. So highlights all around for me.
I like it. It's like NXT's version of Money in the Bank, innit? It's like a future opportunity. Someone comes in.
What they do is they get a lot of people you've never heard of, make a tournament, and then one of them gets to have a title.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Sounds foolproof, to be fair. But I got a highlight, so it can't be too bad.
So it was good.
Can't be too bad. So the next thing I want to talk about, Anthony, is taking over to SmackDown for this week. It's just the exceptional promo skills of both Edge and Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Every day, I'll agree with you. Whenever you mention that, that's a highlight.
They are fantastic. The pair, like Edge, he can't half make you invested in a feud. Do you know what I mean? He proper went deep into the fact that Seth had invaded his privacy, and that's his family home. It's where he puts his daughters to bed every night, and you've
he's got certain magazines hidden in there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you stole his magazines. The pages are all sticky. There's loads of stuff. But then Seth, I think we've spoken about just how good he is as a promo and on the microphone, and the heel kind of little shit-faced character that he is. So
he's
I just think
such a great, a weird comment, but he's a great asshole.
He is. I think the pair of them bounce off each other really well as well. And I think I never thought when Edge had come back and we went, you know what, make a good feud, Edge versus Seth Rollins. I never thought it would end up being, as good as it is with,
Or as long a run, to be honest. And it's not. I'm not saying it like a bad thing. I thought we might get a one and done.
I do think there's been did they have to do the home invasion thing and stuff? There is that element to it, but at the same time,
more for the home invasion than I was the. Oh no, he's being carried out on a stretcher and he might have ended his career again.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he hasn't.
Oh no, he breathed on his neck. What does this mean?
Everyone knows he's made of glass. So that bit was stupid. I much prefer. I don't mind the home invasion stuff compared to that shit. But overall, this trilogy of matches has been fantastic. Yeah. Not that we've seen the third one yet.
No, of course not. But yeah, couldn't agree more. Great from the pair of them. Well, Anthony, you press this thing, you change the slide. There we go. What's on the next one?
What was it? Of course, the Usos and the Street Profits in a street fight.
Mm-hmm.
You think that would be the Street Profits home because they've got street in their name and this was a street fight.
It was.
But the only fear I have with it, it's an overall highlight.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard from a certain little bird, being you, Carl, that we might not be getting Street Profits much longer, so that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I can't call it an shite right now because that's not been the case. But overall, Usos and Street Profits, that was a banger. Yeah, win.
I agree. I'm not normally the biggest fan of the Street Profits. I think they've both got a lot of talent, especially Montez Ford, and that is the rumour that is going around on the grapevine at the minute.
Because we can't have a tag team.
Of course not. WWE tag teams.
Oh,
mental. We'll have shitloads of tag team titles, but just no tag team. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. It was a great showing for the pair of them, and it'll be a shame if these do, either of them break up as tag teams.
It's a shame because they've basically split them up from feuding with each other, which I've not a problem with in a way. The Street Profits could do some good things for Raw as a tag team, And the Usos are basically the only well-established tag team we have for SmackDown, although I think New Day have moved there now. I can't keep track.
Who can?
But my point being, we needed tag team like the Street Profits, and I get that, you know, Montez has got a lot of talent and would probably have a solo run at some point, but right now, we did this exact same thing to Heavy Machinery.
We did. Look how well that went out.
We go full circle and put Otis in another tag team because he didn't work, did he?
No.
I'm not saying that'll happen to Montez, by the way. It's just, yeah.
Well, yeah, hope not. Otherwise, it's going to be like Montez and Jackson Riker or something. It's just going to be like, okay.
God.
So, yeah, I agree. Highlights there. The next highlight, I don't think you can argue with this. I think
I fucking can, and I will. What is it?
So, it's actually Sasha versus Becky, which was effectively the main event of SmackDown this week. So, we have seen the pay-per-view, guys. You know, we can't keep up this charade any longer.
It's all right through us.
This SmackDown match was better than the pay-per-view match, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I don't know what it is when these two go one-on-one together. They just bring it every time. I feel like whenever you add more and more elements into it.
This is the funny thing, and you'll probably get a fuller picture watching the other video we put up, results and reactions to Crown Jewel. I'm not blaming Bianca for it, but I think a lot of the spots that we were like, that was a bit odd, involved Bianca, because I think they were trying to do too many things involving the three of them, maybe. Yeah. But you're quite right. This was much better because it was probably more focused.
They tried too hard to showcase Bianca's strength or agility. Do you know what I mean?
She's super strong.
And I get it. They're trying
if somebody puts all their weight on their arm, she can lift them right up. No problem.
But yeah, I get it. They're trying to build a new star with it, which is absolutely the right thing to do. But it was just, sometimes it just felt too silly, too over the top and unbelievable to do the things she did in the way that she did them. So,
well, no, I agree. This was probably a bit more focused, wasn't it? In all fairness, so ultimately a better match, sadly.
It was. But yeah, it was a highlight. This one, and the final highlight to talk about
contract signing. Let's talk about the contract signing.
Let's talk about it.
I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know how you felt about it, to be honest, Carl. I like all the shenanigans with Heyman.
I love it. It's fantastic.
I like the smarky Roman that he is right now. I like him trying to put Brock down, like, oh, you dumbass, like, why would you sign a contract without reading it? I have one bugbear with contract signings as a whole. I'm not going to apply it to this, but I will say what it is.
Yeah.
This was highlights because of the way they all worked. Brock throwing that spanner in that he's looked over the contract with his advocate, Paul. Excellent bit of mind work there for Roman if it was not true. And it might be true. We don't know what side of the fence Paul Heyman is on.
Still don't know.
But contract signings as a whole, like, they try and make out like it's a thing. Did he need to read a blank bit of paper that he scribbled on? No, contract signings mean fuck all because the match is already. But when we do shit like this, and I've mentioned this many a time, but I'll briefly go over it again. I'll do my usual gripe because it's tradition now. When we already have the match card being advertised heavily for Crown Jewel, they obviously are going to have the match. This facade that they have to sign the contract in order for it to happen is bullshit. And we know it's bullshit because it's already booked. It's already on. Like, you've got people behind the scenes who made all the graphics and everything. You know, it's just bullshit that contract signings are just this whole ridiculous thing for me that it just doesn't need to happen anymore.
Well, the funny thing about it, we found out on the pre-show that there was the potential that this was going to be a no disqualification match as well at the last minute, and it's like, what's the point of signing the contract then?
This contract, I'd have understood more had he have signed a contract without thinking about it, and then you reveal there was no disqualification in there. That would have made sense.
It would.
But he didn't do anything like that.
He didn't.
And contracts, I've said this before over AEW. This is like just the same as a weigh-in. It's just fucking pointless. No, sorry, Cody. I know you tried something different, and I admire you for trying something different. Contract signings, throw them in the bin. We're fucking done with these.
There's this need, isn't there, to fill the TV time with other stuff. So be it a talk show segment, or be it a contract signing, or AEW's route of trying to go down the weigh-in or press conference or whatever.
Like, have you ever seen you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I'm hoping some of our viewers do. When he says, if you've got the opportunity to flip at the table, you flip at the table. That's basically all the contract signings for.
Yeah.
Put a table in the ring so you can flip the fucker.
They're so self-referential now as well, because they've even started doing it, haven't they? Like, we know what's going to happen here, so I'll flip the table, that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, we know. But this is a highlight because
it's a highlight.
It was
they sold it well. I just don't like contract signings.
I love the fact that, to your point, Roman had this shit-eating grin on his face of like, what a dumbass, and he was like, he proper just got one over on Roman. He was like, no, me and Paul looked at it this morning. He's just like, what? So yeah, fantastic all around.
Indeed.
Let's talk about the not so fantastic.
Okay.
Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali. Kind of feels maybe slightly, just possibly that this maybe was done just for Crown Jewel.
Maybe. I mean, could that be coupled with the fact that they loudly proclaimed that Mansoor's originally from Saudi?
Maybe. It's almost like, they wanted to kind of
pander to the crowd.
Yeah, maybe. Because like these two were just like best mates a minute ago.
Yeah.
Now they're in this like proper blood feud.
To the point, guys. I didn't even realise that they'd fallen.
Yeah, it was.
Admittedly, it was massively long, and I probably missed that bit.
Yeah, it was kind of just. I can't even say it was out of nowhere. At this point, anyone who works with Mustafa Ali, you're going to fall out with him after a few weeks.
If he was anything like this when he was a cop, imagine being his partner.
It's believable that he was a cop. Let's be honest. At this point, but
absolutely so. Let's not go into that political.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
No, sorry. We love you, LA. If we ever come over there, please, LAPD, don't kill us. But yeah, so this kind of just feels like they went, yeah, but we need to get Mansoor on the card. Should we make a tag team now? Let's get him as a singles. We get to win.
So. You maybe could have, I don't know, had the Street Profits on the fucking Saudi show and had a tag team match. Nah,
maybe that would have worked. That would have worked. So yeah, that was our first shite.
Gotta give it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Anthony,
next one?
You have the next one.
What have I got? This is a quick. I'm not going to linger on this one, Carl. Everyone will know why this is no shite. It was Shayna Basler versus Dana Brooke.
Yep.
Basler.
Any more need to be said?
It doesn't. But Basler, man, she's had like a bit of a fall from grace, really, and she considering where she started on the main roster.
She has.
I kind of feel sorry for her at this point, but bad match, yeah. And I think
terribly short.
I recall like social media, people were like, "Oh, the commentators were burying Dana Brooke in this match," and it's like, no, they were doing what they're meant to do. They were colour commentating. One was defending and one wasn't. That's kind of how it works. But however you want to start an argument on social media, I suppose.
Well, there's many ways.
But no, needless. I'm not even going to say anymore. No. That match, shit.
It was. I concur with you. Speaking of shit, why give Bobby Lashley a microphone? Doesn't make any sense to me. The guy can't talk. He's terrible. The fact he was ever a world freaking champion. He can't cut a promo.
I was hopeful when MVP was his advocate.
Well, yeah.
That's how it
What's
worked.
happened to that? Where is MVP?
I think he might be injured or something at the minute. But
that's cool, but he doesn't wrestle anyway. So just
true. But
let him be there and be the mouthpiece.
Even if he can't be there, when he was there, they still let Bobby talk.
Yeah.
And he's like, he should have done talking for Bobby because nothing makes Bobby less intimidating than when he gets a fucking microphone.
No, exactly.
I don't care how big and jacked he is, and he could probably murder me quite easily. He's less intimidating when he talks.
Yeah. No, I agree. He looks like a brick shit house. He's mean, menacing, powerful.
Just ruins the mystique.
Yeah, and he gets he's like, Bobby Lashley, and I'm going to beat you up, but it's straight away intimidation factor, dead.
And let's face it, most of Bobby's argument for this feud is, oh, it's a misunderstanding. Like, why don't you just own it and go, he got in the ring and he got hands? Like that would have made more sense for the monster you're apparently being. Instead, you're like, there was a misunderstanding. I didn't mean to beat your son up.
Because to be fair, he didn't really do anything wrong. If a fan got in the ring, you'd beat the shit out of the fan.
Well, we've seen
just
that
because
happen.
He's Goldberg's
we've
kid.
We've seen people get in the ring and take an absolute. Do you remember that one? I can't remember who was in the match now. The fella during a ladder match got in the ring and nearly toppled the ladder over, and he got a.
I think it was Eddie who beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
There's one as well where Triple H and Stone Cold were in there and someone went after Stone Cold and Triple H beat the shit out of him. And Triple H was the bad guy at the time as well.
Like, that's the kind of the unwritten rule, isn't it? Like, if you step foot in the ring, you're going to get a belt.
Yeah.
So,
any belt, Intercontinental probably, at least I might actually get featured.
24/7 title, come on. I changed his hands like I don't know what.
Yeah, so basically Bobby Lashley sucks on the mic.
Yeah.
That is the O'Shite. Next one to talk about, Anthony.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've got this one. And funnily enough, I just mentioned the title as well. Jeff Hardy versus Austin Theory. I mean, we kind of saw the match itself coming, but why add the 24/7 title shot into it?
Yeah.
This is weird, actually, for the title, because it doesn't affect the title, it affects the people.
Well,
like it shouldn't do that. You should go, the wrong people went for that title. That's lowered the title down a bit. Yeah. No, this is like anyone who's sullied with the 24/7 title. You're almost relegating this person who's come to the main roster to the 24/7 scene.
Yeah. At the end of the day, right? Theory and Hardy set up a little thing between themselves, and we were finally going to get a match. It was an opportunity for Hardy to get revenge on Austin Theory, and then in the middle of the match, why bring out fucking Tozawa and R-Truth and just have them?
Yeah. It makes the whole thing ludicrous. You involve that 24/7 scene with it. then it just lowers the whole thing down.
Yeah,
Why is Jeff anywhere near the 24/7 scene the way that they have
made
respect for him as a legend?
No sense. And to bring somebody up to the main roster and have his match interrupted by some 24/7 shit that's going on around him.
I genuinely worry he's going to be involved in a 24/7 shit, man.
It wouldn't surprise me if in a short amount of time that became the case. So yeah, shites. The next one. Why did Jinder beat Kofi? This was set up to be Xavier versus Kofi in the next round.
That would have been perfect, wouldn't it?
It's what everyone wanted to see. Two of the closest friends having a friendly match between each other. Would have been fantastic. No, Jinder wins. Why?
Yep.
Why?
It's absolutely baffling. Like,
crazy.
Everyone would have loved to have seen that. Like, no matter what way they would have done Kofi versus Woods, whether it was through respect or even through like sudden animosity between the two, would have worked. But we didn't get to know any of that, did we?
No, we didn't. Anthony.
And I know it seems weird because I was just before saying like we need to keep tag teams together. I'm not saying break the tag team up, but seeing them go for a match together out of respect would have been fine.
Well, that's it. Like we've seen it back in King of the Rings of old, of like the Hardy Boys going up against each other. King of the Rings of old. Yeah, that's my new memoir. The
days of yore.
Days of my what? The days of my what? So yeah, the next shite, Anthony, if you would like to regale us of the women's tag match.
I shall regale you with my tale. Now, simply, not so much the match itself. Kind of, I suppose, like the whole thing's a bit of a mess. Women's tag scene's a bit of a mess, but the pre-match brawl itself was probably more interesting than the match, which isn't good.
Fair.
And similarly, I might sound a little bitter here, but why was Charlotte involved in this?
It's a good point, to be fair. At the end of the day, she's not involved in the triple threat match, but she's always around these three in this run-up. Yep. And it's like, well, make it a fatal four-way match. Or if Charlotte can't be, if she's not allowed in Saudi Arabia or something, that's cool. Just keep her out of the build-up to it.
Yeah.
It feels so weird. It's like building up a feud between, like, as a triple threat match for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then just having it as a singles match on the main pay-per-view.
It's
why?
Baffling, isn't it? So, yeah, all in all, just kind of a bit screwy, really, wasn't it?
It was screwy. Yeah. It was very screwy. Speaking of screwy, and you can't see this on our newly formatted thing, but basically this is the hand of Joe Gacy stroking the hand of the former Parker Boudreaux, now known as Haaland. Don't get that, to be fair. Why is the beast able to be tamed by a gentle caress to the face by a woke
I
fella like
feel
Joe
like
Gacy?
They might be getting their messages mixed as well, because like, you know, Joe Gacy's whole thing is that, you know, this is a safe space, but he feels free to touch people. Like,
yeah.
I don't feel safe. If Joe Gacy could run up to me and start caressing my face, that doesn't feel like a safe space to me. So
No.
I feel like they might have got the messages mixed a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But they're obviously going to go for this. Like, Haaland might end up being his sort of monster, if you will, because he can calm him.
Yeah, it seems like that's the direction they're going, but yeah, the weird little, like...
This is going to hinder Parker.
Yeah.
He would be much better by himself. He doesn't need to be involved in this Joe Gacy stuff. This is the problem I've got with it.
I agree. I concur. Another NXT problem, Anthony. Now, I think I was going to talk about this one originally, but let me see whether you feel about the same way about it as me. Obviously, around Creed and Giro.
Okay, I probably wasn't like this. Might not have made my own shite. In all honesty, I can see your points, and in the fact that this was probably the worst beatdown that we've seen in a while.
It was shit.
Right, this was kind of nothing to me, but I do get your point. I think again, especially from what you've noted, that hitting him with the towel, like
right, Diamond Mine fucking suck, man. They are so bad. And
look at it, like the one that was actually doing a little bit better in Hit Row have been called up to the main roster and are already looking at being split up, which is fucking ridiculous.
Like, I get it to work, right, and you're not going to beat the shit out of people. There wasn't a single punch or kick that landed. Nothing looked like it was going to happen. Then one of the guys starts fucking whipping him with a towel. And I was just like, what is this? What are we watching? It was crap.
Yeah.
It was crap.
I totally agree. As I say, it's what I've come to expect almost.
I'm a bitter man, and that's how I feel about it.
I would do not disagree with you calling it an shite, but I think it's desensitized me. Like, this is the kind of stuff I expect now anyway.
It's fair. So the next shite I want to talk about in a game. We cut it off on the video because of the new setup. But Shayna Basler, how the mighty have fought. I can't even call her the mighty. How the underutilized have fallen to even less utilized.
How Shayna has fallen.
She was literally weeks ago being made back into a monster heel. They broke her away from Nia Jax, which is the best thing they've done in a while. She was destroying people, the Queen's
she
Crown
wasn't
thing.
quite back to biting people, but
Well, yeah, she hadn't gone full, vampire at this point, but she was winning. She was beating people up quickly, making quick work of them, and then she basically loses a match against Doudrop, rocks up on SmackDown, and is now what's her face? What's her name? Sonya Deville's bitch, basically. So
yeah,
it's like,
basically,
why can't you just get a break? Like, she could be a decent, formidable single star if booked right. She's clearly got something. I'm not a massive fan of her from a promo standpoint or anything like that. Even from her look to a degree, but she's got the chops. She can do something. She'll be a bit different. But they just bury her every single time. And I don't mean bury her as in she loses. I just mean she's dead on arrival. She's now shown up again into some other clusterfuck where she's Sonya's bitch. And it's like, just let her be Shayna Basler, the Queen of Spades, and beat people up.
No, can't do that. We tried that with the Elimination Chamber and it worked, so we can't do that again.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's mad to think that's the same person that,
It's unreal, isn't it? World of difference.
Mental.
Again, last one, and I'll keep this brief, Carl's. Just happy talk.
Unhappy talk?
Just the fact that he's got happy talk, the fact that happy talk exists. Anytime this is on a show, I'm going to call it an shite.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't exist. Not everyone needs a fucking talk show.
No. And this goes back to what we were saying before about the contract signing stuff. They've got this need and desire to make additional segments that don't need to be made. And this was the worst episode of it yet. It was just two absolute buffoons sitting there chatting crap for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long it felt. It was just crap.
I actually had hopes for Happy Corbin.
Yeah, me too.
He got away from the King gimmick, and I was hoping they were going to do something with him. I do think he has the potential somewhere. They just haven't used him right. And now we're moved on to this shite.
He showed a level of charisma when he became Happy Corbin that I hadn't seen from him ever.
Exactly.
I was quite, hopeful, but there you go.
Yeah, unreal.
So, Anthony, what are your thoughts this week? What is your rating for all of WWE?
Yeah, I'm going to put it strictly middle of the road, personally, for me. It was good in a lot of ways, and it was bad in a lot of ways, so I'd probably go 2.5, if I'm honest.
Okay. I've gone slightly higher this week. I've gone for a 3, and I think
you love a good tournament.
I mean, it is, to be fair. Obviously, King of the Ring, Queen's Crown. Well, all 30 seconds of the Queen's Crown that we probably got over
Don't blink.
But yeah, I think there was a lot of stuff that set up Crown Jewel and actually made me look forward to seeing it, which isn't always the case. I often speak about go-home shows to pay-per-views at the minute and being like, that's what your final show is to make me want to buy this thing. Whereas I think this did everything it needed to get me excited about the stuff that I should be excited about. So yeah, I thought it was a decent showing from WWE this week. Which takes us over to AEW, mate. So first highlight I want to kick off with isn't the image I've got on my screen, but we'll roll with it. We've got CM Punk taking on Matt Sydal. And I thought it was great, to be fair. I think these two, they've had matches, I think 2 matches before this, I think both in WWE. It was nice to see them get to square off again. There was no doubt who was winning this one. CM Punk was always going to be... yeah, Gwen Stefani showed up. No, there was no doubt who was going to win it. CM Punk, people are kind of... It's a weird one. People are going... One half the people are like, oh, he's 4-0 since he's come back. Is that the right thing? Should he still be the best in the world after being away? Others are like, well, obviously he's 4-0 because he's faced nothing but tin cans. When's he going to get some real competition? So you can't please everybody, but I think...
It's like people are moaning he's on commentary and people love the fact he's a talker.
Yeah.
Can't win.
No, you can't win.
People love the fact that he asked if Kira Hogan was any relation and other people fucking hated it.
Well, yeah, I'd be awkward if she was.
I think he was going for a joke and some people took him and say, is he honestly not? And like, well, yeah, I think he might have been joking,
Yeah.
But whatever, people are fickle.
They really are. But no, big fan of CM Punk and Matt Sydal. Thought it was a great match.
Indeed.
Then we go on to what should have been the first one.
Okay, so I'll do this one then, Carl. Bryan Danielson and Minoru Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I said that right. I said it quick.
Yeah, why not?
Again, banger of a match. I don't know much about... am I pronouncing the first name? Minoru?
Yeah, go with it. Minoru Suzuki. Yeah.
I didn't know much about him, to be honest. Obviously, I know legend, but I personally didn't know much about him. But the pair of them did put on a banger of a match, and honestly, Bryan has been super impressive since he no offense to Punk, but Bryan has been super impressive. Not even the slightest bit of rust, understandably.
He's not missed a beat, has he? To be fair,
yeah, it's really, really fantastic display from him since he come to AEW, and one of the main highlights of AEW at the moment. In all fairness,
yeah, no, I agree. I think to your point on Suzuki, was that what he called? Suzuki. Suzuki. I'm not a massive, I don't really know much of his work. I know he's from New Japan. I know he's a legend. We've obviously saw him against John Moxley in a match that I thought was okay. This one I thought was infinitely better. This was strong style. This was it was less about the hardcore and sick sadistic aspect. It was more about just beating the shit out of each other.
Heavy hitting, but not
literally kicks, slaps, punches, elbows, everything you could throw at each other. Proper, strong style match, and it was great. And obviously you can see that Bryan Danielson's having the time of his life doing this, and
he's loving it.
It's exactly what he wants to do.
This is he's almost acting as if he has been held out of wrestling for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know there must be a world of difference personally for him in what he's able to do here, and that's not a slight to WWE, but he's acting like he can wrestle again, which is madness because he was wrestling.
I feel like he's got more of a say now as well. It's not just here's what you're doing this week. It's kind of just you want to go up against this guy. Cool, you can. And this was given away on free TV. This was part of the buy-in or whatever it was for the episode of Rampage. So fair friggin' play. The next highlight, and I'm always going to give this a highlight because I fucking love Junior Dos Santos. I was a big fan of the Inner Circle versus Men of the Year with JDS. It was good. It was really good. It proper surprised me because
I think Dos Santos has surprised a lot of people as well,
he's been really good. He's taken to it really well. There's one or two moments.
Fish to water.
Yeah, there's one or two moments where he's obviously shaky and stuff like that with some of the things he was doing, but he wasn't in the ring for an excessive amount of time to expose him too much. He did the table spots, went right through that, sold it really well. But yeah, I just love the guy. He's an absolute sweetheart. It's mad that they brought him in as a heel because I don't know anyone who can just not love the guy. He's the nicest guy in MMA. So to bring him in and have him as a bad guy has been proper weird to watch. But I thought everything about this was great. Obviously the stuff that I think Paige Vanzant, if she gets into the wrestling biz as well, is going to be another star. And I think obviously we're potentially going to see Jericho versus Jorge Masvidal. So anyone who transcends the worlds of both pro wrestling and MMA, you'll probably love this stuff just like I do. But yeah, I was made up with it. I thought the Inner Circle were great. I thought Men of the Year as well are doing a good stuff. You can definitely see, especially Scorpio Sky. And that's no offense to Ethan Piff. No offense to Ethan Page, but I think Scorpio Sky you can definitely see having a really bright future. So yeah, all in all, big fan of it.
Sky's the limit.
Brilliant. Next highlight.
Yeah. So just a shout out to the match itself. Malachi Black versus Dante Martin, and I honestly didn't think I would be saying Malachi Black or Alistair Black as it used to be was ever a highlight for me. I never got him at all in WWE. He's been fantastic in AEW. I like his character better and everything. I just understand it better. He's coming across as a lot more menacing, and I think what he was trying to come across as in WWE is coming across here. And these two put on a world of a match. So all in all,
Dante Martin, man, he is fucking something else. He is exceptional. Every time he's had an opportunity to shine, he's fucking delivered and then some. He is fantastic. I think Malachi as well, the little show of respect he gave him at the end, we stopped and looked back and gave him the nod. That's exactly the kind of thing you want to see. So yeah, I loved it. Thought it was great. Another highlight this week. So the Super Click versus Dark Order. Okay. It was
a fun match. I'm curious how you feel about that spot.
Which spot?
The one that you're
the kissing of the cheeks. I loved it. That was funny. I honestly thought it was really funny.
Yeah. I was just curious how you feel about it because obviously the Dark Order jumped on it, didn't they? And there was that shock factor from Adam. So I was curious whether you felt it was maybe too goofy or.
No, I thought it was the right kind of goofy for me. I think obviously
to be honest, if you're watching something that involves the Super Click,
yeah,
and the Dark Order at some level, if you're not expecting it to be goofy fun,
I mean, the fact is that whole spot every week when it's the Young Bucks, they literally run rope to rope to rope to rope to rope and stop and then kiss him on the cheek. That's the big thing, you know what I mean? So the fact that it was these guys coming in place and he looked so offended by it, I thought it was fantastic. But no, I think fair play to John Silver and Alex Reynolds. I think the pair of them are really kind of stepping their game up. I think John Silver.
Adam Cole needs to watch out though because Johnny Hungy.
Well, yeah, Johnny Hungy is Hungy. But no, I think he's got a big future, Johnny Hungy, to be fair. And no offense to Evil Luno or Alex Reynolds, but he's definitely the standout. And
he seems to be, doesn't he? He's kind of I don't think size is a factor in AEW, but he's he's little big, isn't he?
That's what they always tell you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
he's unusual in that sense, but I don't think that's going to hold him back, especially not in AEW.
No. So next highlight, Anthony.
Well, of course, it's MJF, Carl.
What else needs to be said?
What needs to be
Just
said?
MJF. It's
Every
brilliant.
fucking week.
This obviously was just a return to form promo from MJF. You know, as he has had, obviously with the Brian Pillman stuff, but what he's been doing with Darby and things like that has been fantastic. And for him to come in,
he showed me something unrelated to this a little bit, but he showed me that poster before, that joke one that he did.
yeah,
he's so good at it.
no, he is. He's a proper classic heel.
He caused a lot, like, again, slightly unrelated to this, but like he caused a fantastic promo, and he always fucking does. But he made some comments. I can't remember if it was an interview on social media that basically he's got a lot of respect for Roman Reigns, but he's better in the ring and on the mic.
Yeah.
And I do not disagree with that statement at all.
No.
A lot of people do. Now, I'm not giving Roman any discredit, but he's not good in the ring or on the mic.
No.
Like, he's significantly improved on the mic. And what he's doing at the minute is fantastic. And not being good in the ring isn't necessarily a bad thing. John Cena technically isn't good in the ring.
No.
Like, he's got a handful of moves and he's able to get over with the crowd. That's all he needed. But MJF is better in the ring in a technical sense.
Yeah, you can have star power and a gimmick and all that good stuff without being a fantastic in-ring performer or fantastic on the mic.
In the ring.
Yeah, he's got literally
he's
4 moves.
One of the most household names that there ever was in wrestling. So to say he's better in the ring than Roman isn't a discredit to Roman, but it's true. He is better in the ring.
No, it's people who just don't watch the product and kind of understand what it is they're watching. They just go, well, WWE's better, so obviously there's no way MJF's better than...
Or when people jump on, well, more people watch SmackDown, so therefore, I'm just like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, but no, this was a proper cool old school heel tactic from MJF of bringing a referee in, saying, I'm here to wrestle Darby, he hasn't showed up. Well, you better start the 10 count then, ref, I'm going to win the match. Obviously Sting comes out to kind of get involved, so nice to see them two working together. But no, MJF, just absolute legend. Next one to talk about, P. Ford. I think Penelope Ford's been fantastic. We've been saying this for ages of, like, why hasn't she been used? Why hasn't she been in the ring?
Super talented.
Super bad in the best way. She's a super bad girl, super great in the ring. Yeah, love her. I think she's definitely got the it factor. I think she's slowly been honing her craft. Some of the moves she pulled out this week, stuff that you would see from the likes of the freaking Lucha Brothers and stuff. It was some like fucking springboard shit and crazy stuff. And
I think she surprises you with her in-ring ability, like, because she hasn't really been given much opportunity to display it, and I think she's getting that more and more.
Yeah, and I think obviously Kiera Hogan is another fantastic addition. I think she's another great addition to the women's roster.
I know she caused a little bit of controversy and impact, as I understand it, mostly because of some of the stuff she'd say, like that Sasha Banks is ripping it off, even though Sasha Banks has been around longer and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know fully how you feel about her impact or her controversy, but she seems really talented, and the more talented women in AEW, the better, because that's the roster that needed help. And I dare say we're getting to a point that I don't need to say that anymore, because it's a
literally
really fucking good roster.
Took the words out of my mouth, to be honest, mate. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's only a good thing when you bring more talented people to the roster to the point where you're starting to get it really stacked. So it's a damn sight different to what it was 2 years ago. That's no offence to the originals. It's just that they've managed to
the originals are still a part of that. In fact, look at the likes of Britt Baker. She is like almost the figurehead of the women's division. Yeah. So it's absolutely no disrespect to them, but it just needed more fleshing out.
Yeah.
I think they've noticed that and dealt with it.
Somebody said, I'm not sure it was on Reddit or something, is that they've managed to do so well considering the amount of setbacks they had. So if you think about it, when they first started, the cornerstones of the women's division, they wanted Kylie Ray, Awesome Kong, and a bunch of the Japanese women, like Rio and
Rio
stuff.
Was their first champion.
So that was what their original plans were. Then the next minute, Kylie Ray leaves wrestling. Awesome Kong, leaves, gets injured and goes away. Rio and stuff like that wasn't able to compete because of the COVID and things like that. Yeah. They literally had to just rebuild a roster. And if you look at how good it is now, based on where they started out in that sense, And
you know what? Like, I know Tony Khan probably be first to tell you that he's great. But I've got to give him credit for in the business sense, the relationships he built during that time with the likes of NWA and Impact were crucial, to the point that I still say it, and I'm sorry, I am a mark for Thunder Rosa. She was the best acquisition they ever made.
Yeah.
And that started out as just a relationship with them and NWA, and can they use her for some time? It made for a really good feud with Britt, and now we've got to keep her, which is fantastic.
Well, exactly, and I think now they've got the TBS title and stuff coming up as well. It gives them other opportunities to get involved in other kind of feuds that are going to get more eyeballs on it and stuff. So yeah, I think exciting all around. The final highlight, Anthony, for AEW, you want to talk about just how good this fucking promo was?
No.
Okay.
Now, obviously, Hangman Page is back, and we've got a nice little Hangman Page promo
with
this
a bang.
week. And you know what? It just reminds you who he is and how good he is. Let's be honest.
It was fantastic. People are saying this is his Austin 316 moment. I'm not sure about that.
That might be a bit extreme. I think this reminded me that he actually can go on the mic.
Yeah,
which is something that I don't think really got showcased an awful lot.
No.
Like they did the whole funny segments with the drinking and stuff, but I think this really showed that he knows how to cut a promo.
It was definitely the most impassioned promo he's ever done.
Oh yeah.
And
he's got to come out with the title. Please come out with the title.
I mean,
I want him to have the title.
This to me cemented the fact he can be the main star of the show. Because he was a better promo than Kenny's ever done in his time there, to be fair.
And he didn't need women in the background sweeping.
He didn't.
For whatever reason that is.
Exactly. So, whether he's the cleaner or not, he's all about the cowboy shit, and we're all about the cowboy shit.
I don't get the sweeping.
Because he's the cleaner.
I don't get the sweeping
So the sweeping, the cleaning, he's the cleaner.
He's the cleaner. Why are they brushing up?
Because, yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. But yeah, obviously this was all about cowboy shit and about, obviously, the stuff he's been through and what he's overcome and, the support of the fans and everything. It was raw, it was emotional, it was fantastic.
Sorry, not to digress, I just love our unofficial guest here.
What do you think about it, Brett? Yeah.
It's the best of it. Oh. That's not a good Brett impression, apologies.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't even try and do him a disservice of doing an impression of him, but yeah, I think fantastic promo. Shites this week, and there's only two. I will start with the first one, which is the Super Ranas. The match itself was fine. When you get FTR and the Lucha Brothers together in the ring, they're never going to put on a bad match, are they? But this was just a bit silly. I don't understand any of it. It wasn't explained. Why would the Pinnacles tag team have to dress up as luchadors to get a shot at the tag team titles at the hands of Andrade El Idolo? Doesn't make any fucking sense that at all, does it, really?
Not really.
And then it's like, well, this is a shot for the AAA tag team titles, even though that they're also the AEW tag champs. So yeah, it all just felt a bit weird. And I think this is obviously, I don't agree with this, but they've been getting shit on Twitter for obviously the old picture that was surfacing around from when they were in WWE, when they tried to give them that new gimmick where they had like the big fucking clocks around and the green hats and shit. And yeah. So they're saying like, oh yeah, they left WWE because they didn't want to make them look like fools, and then showing this one side by side.
But you do know that like this was like a one-off, and WWE's idea was to have that as their gimmick.
Yeah,
there's a bit of difference.
To be fair, even though it's a no shite, I like the fact they didn't pretend like they didn't know who it was. Like literally, CM Punk was like, yeah, that's FTR. Like literally in like 2 seconds.
I don't care what anyone says. I'll do like Punk on commentary.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like if that was WWE, they'd be like, who are these people? It's like the Los Conquistadors. You know what I mean? When they were there, and it was like, oh, there's no way that's Edge and Christian. Like it was FTR, but at least they didn't kind of buy into the bullshit, and it was like, and they got unmasked pretty early into it as well. But yeah, I think what's missing for me is, why were they dressed like this? Why were they Andrade's secret team? Why do they have to go through Andrade to get a tag?
I'll make gesture and you can't say it.
Just have it like coming out the side every now and again. But yeah, so yeah, that's for that reason alone.
Slight digression. I noticed that we're both under our respective cartoons.
Oh, that's good. That I like that. The first time this guy, here he is.
Animate that so he laughs like even better.
Yeah, can't do that. So the final O'Shai for AEW this week, Anthony, is we are of course talking about Moxley. So, a couple of issues with Moxley actually. I'll start with the basic, the one that we always go to, the fact that his music does not suit him, and it is shit. I don't care what anyone says, I don't care how much you like Wild Thing, it does not suit him, and it is shit. Right, so it's apparently some nod back to some crazy kooky shit in New Japan or some hardcore thing years and years ago where someone's come out to that, which is cool, but it fucking sucks.
It's shit.
It's awful.
So moving on from the theme music, which just doesn't work for me. The squash over Utah this week.
Yeah.
Not sure like I'm not sold on it all. I'm not sure on this new sort of weird attitude that they've gone for without explanation. This sort of angry attitude he's got. And honestly, I'm not sure about this. They were clearly teasing a feud with Cassidy, and I don't know if I want that either. So a few misses there for me, to be honest, this week with Moxley. But I'll call it 1-0 shout.
Yeah, I will agree. Ratings?
7.
Okay.
Nah, I'll probably give it a 3.
Interesting. I gave WWE a 3. I don't think this was significantly better. So I think I'm going to have to put them on par this week.
Shocking. I think this was slightly better, so I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I don't think that. I think it was fine.
Well, that's like your opinion.
So yeah, both get a 3, which is probably weird for me being the biggest AEW mark in the land. Can we do that now? Okay, can we do that? This thing, yeah. Look at us.
Alright, cool.
Oh,
well, not cool. Far from cool.
Okay. And there was only one thing to talk about in the rest of the world of wrestling this week, which was in the NWA. Mickie James, friend of the show. If you've not checked out the interview, we were gracious enough to... No, that she was gracious enough to have
we
done...
were gracious enough to speak to her,
with us. We were grateful enough to have done with Mickie. But yeah, I'm used to getting things wrong, as she calls me out for several times.
That's right.
But yeah, obviously Mickie was there, and she was basically saying NWA have agreed to do an episode of Power, which is kind of focused on the women. So it's not like an Empower pay-per-view, but it's an empowered version of Power. So
she did such a fantastic job with Empower.
Exactly.
I have nothing but trust in her.
And I think, as she said when she spoke to us, for a company, the oldest wrestling company in America, to embrace women's wrestling to the point where they're putting on women's only shows and stuff is mad. And I think it is a testament to Mickie and the faith they've got in her, and she didn't disappoint in the first one. Kiera Hogan actually came out and was kind of like, well, you didn't book me on Empower, blah blah blah. So that is kind of setting up a potential feud between them two. So it's nice to see Mickie kind of mixing it up with different people. So I would be excited to see that. So yeah, that, Anthony, was this week in wrestling.
We did it.
We did it. Did it in a cool 45 minutes, so maybe slightly more. So with that being said, we will be back talking about all the latest news and rumours in the world of wrestling this week. While Anthony, the antisocial bastard, goes on his phone next to me as I'm talking through the outro. He's a terrible man. Oh wow. That's big. So we will pass you over to Thunder Rosa now, who will sign off. And we will speak to you when we talk the news.
That we will.
We will.
He's not wrong. We're still here.
Hey everybody, this is Thunder Rosa, and you're watching or listening A2theK. A2theK.
A2theK.